The bulk operations feature empowers device manager administrators with the means to carry out mass changes to large groups of subscribers automatically. In this tutorial, we'll look at the thought process and the user interface for creating bulk operations. Also, you'll get familiar with a few of the common use cases for bulk operations. First, we'll use it to automate firmware upgrades. In the other upgrading firmware tutorial, you learned how to deploy firmware to a single subscriber's device in a one-on-one live customer service scenario. In this lesson, we'll let bulk operations automate this task for hundreds or thousands of subscribers that you have identified to receive a particular upgrade. Once logged in to Device Manager, select the Bulk Operations tab from the top navigation bar. The next page shows a list of the other bulk operations that were previously created. Click the green plus in the upper right to make a new one. First, give this bulk operation an intuitive name. This is a free-form text field, so pick any name you want. For this first checkbox, it's a question of whether you want to solicit devices immediately versus queuing up the change and let it take place the next time that this device naturally informs to the ACS. Given that performing a firmware upgrade, our current example, entails a reboot and is briefly service impacting, it would be best practice to force the solicit. If we left this checkbox unchecked, the inform for many devices could occur during peak use hours and may trigger subscribers to call in for technical support. This is of course something to be avoided. In a moment, we'll set a schedule for this bulk op that ensures the upgrades and reboot all happen when subscribers are least likely to be impacted. Next, we'll leave the Max Sessions field blank and let the system default throttle this bulk operation. This ensures that CPU and other finite resources don't get maxed out. Action. What do we want it to do? For this example, we want to upgrade firmware. Now, because of the action we chose, the Parameters drop-down displays a list of available firmware updates that you have previously loaded into Device Manager. Choose the correct one that you've previously tested for interoperability and perhaps used in a field trial with a test group of subscribers. These are always wise steps before deploying something brand new to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Alright, at this point, we've completed telling Device Manager what to do. Now let's move on to when we'll do it. We could schedule this thing to run right now. Depending on what sort of change you're making, that may not be the best choice. As we mentioned earlier about this example, firmware updates, it's briefly service impacting. The smarter option then is to schedule such things during a maintenance window. With that in mind, let's not choose now for this situation. Let's run it weekly. Most of the devices currently in the field will of course be upgraded on the very first run. In the weeks that follow, the trickle of out-of-date devices that may appear on the network will then get taken care of. Sometimes stragglers like this occur if new units ship from the manufacturer with an older firmware pre-installed. Later, you can come back to this and disable the scheduled recurrence at any time if this bulk operation becomes obsolete. Because I've selected something other than now, I'm presented with some additional options I need to specify. A beginning date, a day of the week, and a time of day range. Let's say our maintenance window for this sort of thing is from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. At this point, Device Manager knows what to do and now when to do it. Next, we'll explore who and declare exactly which devices get affected when this bulk operation runs. Note that for this situation, though, the system has already intelligently created selection criteria of all CPEs of a device type that reflects the parameters selection we made a few moments ago. If we specify no additional criteria, this bulk operation would get applied to this many devices. Device Manager, however, is a very data-rich environment. There's no shortage of data fields associated with subscriber and device that you can filter on. For example, let's say we only want this bulk operation to apply to devices that currently have a specific firmware version. Adding that filtered us back to significantly fewer devices. Let's refine the query even further and say we only want to upgrade devices to which a particular label has been applied. There, with our finalized query in place, this many devices will receive this update. Now, if this example were being performed in a live production environment like yours, we may see hundreds or even thousands of subscribers with equipment that needs to be upgraded. Parameters for this bulk operation are complete. Click the Create button in the lower right to save it. Now that this bulk operation has been saved, it will execute per the schedule that we specified. Let's quickly review the steps for creating a bulk operation as we consider one more use case. In this example, we want to filter on devices that don't have Wi-Fi security enabled. Those we find get pointed to a walled garden that presents the user with a chance to fix their security. First, click the green plus. Give it a name. We'll leave these defaults as they are. The action to perform on the devices is to enable a service. From the Parameters drop-down is where we specify the walled garden, otherwise known as a captive portal. In your system, you may have multiple specialized captive portal web apps that your subscribers could be pointed to. This one here is for security and fits the objective at hand. The user experience for a web app like this should enable the subscriber to do one of two things. 1. Click a button to acknowledge the security risks that you've brought to their attention and leave things as they are. Or option 2. Click a button that takes them directly to their subscriber control panel where they can address the issue and enable some security. So next we'll schedule the bulk operation. I'll have this one run once a month to make sure we keep up with the stragglers. Starting date, day of the week. Now for best system performance, consider staggering them out so all your bulk ops aren't running on the same day of the week. And the range of hours goes here. Now on to the filter criteria. Unlike the previous scenario, which could only apply to a few subscribers with a specific device, this one could be of benefit to your entire subscriber base. But let's think about this. If a subscriber has Wi-Fi security already turned on, there's no need to subject them to the nuisance of a captive portal. Only those subscribers with Wi-Fi security equals none should be notified. Our simulation here says that, unfiltered, we have this many total subscribers. Given that we're only looking for people that aren't using any Wi-Fi security, this bulk op will service some lesser number of subscribers. And at last, click the Create button and this bulk operation is saved and ready. In this tutorial, you've learned a few common use cases for bulk operations, some of the consideration that goes into selecting certain parameters for bulk operations, and you now have a good understanding of the flow of the user interface for creating bulk operations of your own. This concludes this tutorial. Don't forget to check out the next tutorial when we'll discuss monitoring status, canceling, and deleting bulk operations. Now go log into your device manager system and try out what you've learned.